Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back. So Master Duel. Next up, Monarchs. As you know, one of my favorite archetypes like ever in this game's history is Monarchs, at least one of them, right? But for me, Monarchs definitely takes the cake. And you know, when Master Duel was just released, you have to set goals for yourself. And one of my first goals for for Master Duel in general was to get like a full Monarch deck, right? To give myself the opportunity to first of all get all the cards, and second try to get myself up as high as possible on you know, the competitive ladder. Even though, as you might know, nowadays, so 2021, 2022, Monarchs is not the most competitive deck. It was back in 2016 with the structure deck release and so on during Cosmo format, but now, nah, it's not the most competitive deck, so people won't expect it. But nonetheless, it's still somewhat competitive because, again, we are using pretty much I believe it's one of the previous OCG ban lists, right? I'm looking at True King of All Calamity, I'm looking at the card you see here, Maxi, Upstart Goblin, and maybe for this deck as well, Chicken Game. It's not in here for the biggest reason is the ban list. We might get our new TCG ban list really soon, so I am somewhat hesitant to buy those cards, at least on, you know, Master Duel, right? Like triple Chicken Game, triple Upstart Goblin. So those cards might, same for triple Maxi. Then again, one of my next goals is probably getting 3 Maxis. To, I guess, to make this deck complete to my likings, I guess. But the decklist you see here is pretty much the same decklist that I'm playing online, at least online, and of course in real life as well. Bar maybe the main decked Twin Twisters. I got some test tools, you know, well, not ready, but I tried out the deck in the competitive ladder, but no replays just yet because the quality of them is not that great, you know, like especially early on, you're playing against a lot of, you know, maybe new duelists or players that are using the structure deck or a structure deck, so it's not too interesting to take, at least to watch that or use that as replays. So replays are definitely coming up soon, but again, I'm trying to get myself up on the ladder a bit more, or a bit higher, to get those competitive decks. But the thing is that, and that's something that people like, people dislike, the current format on Master Duel is single duel, so no side deck. That's why you see it here, and that's where I believe this deck's, at least this deck shines, because as in a regular DCG, Domain Monarchs wants to go first. The strategy behind the deck is to get out a Tribute Summon monster, depending on the matchup, but preferably it's Vanity's Fiend, 3 copies in the main deck, but at least plus Domain. Again, Domain's the field spell of Monarch states that your opponent can't use their extra deck if you have a Tribute Summon monster, so that's super because, let's face it, 2021-2022 format, most decks are using the extra deck. Tri-Brigade, Zodiac, Virtual World, which is, you know, superb in here, Heroes, and so on and so on. The most, or the toughest matchup for this deck, and already played some matchups today, is Stun, so decks that are playing a lot of back rows themselves and are not really hindered by not being able to use their extra deck. Again, if you're like, oh man, yeah, this is the biggest combo, you have Domain up, you have Vanity's Fiend, and you're like, okay, you can't lose this one, but then your opponent reveals he's playing like Eldritch Stun with triple Skill Drain or whatever. Yeah, that happens, but that's why the Twin Twisters are there for now. It's a last-minute addition, but I might switch it eventually. Again, I'm grinding on the ladder as we speak every day, a couple of hours of playtesting. But, you know, getting more CP craft points, the ultra rare, because I need to get maybe Maxis. I mean, Domain Monarchs isn't really the deck you want to main deck hand traps in, because that's still the biggest weakness of the deck, is bricking, right? Too many tribute monsters, too many like Erebus, Ether or whatever, or no tribute monsters at all. So that's still the biggest weakness of this deck. I might make some changes as well, maybe more Mithra, but that depends, right? Like the higher up the ladder, the more competitive the players will be. More hand traps like Impermanent Ash Blossom, because those are huge against Monarchs. But for me, the deck for now is good enough. But I definitely need more grinding, and I definitely want to add in Maxi. Single duels, if you go second. The only hand trap I actually just want to have is Maxi. Most opponents will just stop or, you know, try to commit and give me a couple of special summons, or, well, eventually a couple of draws, and I can capitalize on that. If your opponent has like 1 or 2 negations, you can force that out with Pantheism, Stormfort, and so on. So the deck can definitely break a board. But the problem is that if you're going second without any hand traps like Nibiru or Imperm, it's hard for this deck to break like a huge multiple negation board. But again, that's something that, again, one of the big weaknesses of this deck. You want to go first and establish preferably Vanity's Fiend with or without Domain, of course, and go from there. Establish your graveyard with Pantheism and, you know, your trap, the Prime Monarch, and so on. So the thing is that for now, I'm a little bit hesitant to main deck, or at least buy, because I don't have you see, I don't have triple upstart, I don't have chicken game. Not sure. Again, I'm hesitant. I'm waiting on the TCG ban list, which I feel is right around the corner. We have an upcoming remote duel YCS over here in Europe this weekend, the upcoming weekend, so we can expect our next TCG ban list really soon, and that might have an impact on the Master Duel format. But I mean, again, I don't want to risk like buying Maxis, triple upstart Goblin, chicken games, whatever, and then, you know, Konami revealing the ban list, the TCG ban list next week, and boom, mass news, update, Master Duel with the new ban list, and so on. So, and again, I don't want to lose like the craft points, the CP points for that, right? At least not yet. But yeah, for now, what am I aiming to do is to make the deck a bit better. I'm looking at, again, Maxi, get myself higher up on the ladder, and, you know, I can go from there. Try to get more points, better cards maybe, because again, you're not seeing any hand traps, but I don't feel you you know, you need to play hand traps. So for free to play, I believe this deck is really solid. It's not hard to play. It's quite of an easy deck. Vanity's Fiend, Domain, that's basically it. So it's not that hard. There are tough matchups. Small downside, you have to go first. Going second is a problem. If you're playing against combo, you know, multiple negations, then it's very hard for this deck to, you know, come back after that, but it is what it is. So the current format on Master Duel, at least on Master Duel, is single elimination. I believe this deck is pretty good. It does its job, but you know, I want to play, at least get myself up on the ladder to try to get as high as possible with, you know, not the most competitive deck, but at least something that I like playing. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment or like if you enjoyed the video. Likem signing out. Peace.